Good morning, Jenny Turner, Lovejoy Real Estate. Welcome to another episode of Real Talk. This morning we have a fabulous special guest that I'm so excited to introduce you to.
Hi, my name's Eileen Rivera with the Rivera Group in Long Beach, California, and I am so excited to be here working with and visiting with Jenny Turner and the whole team.
So tell us a little bit this morning. What's your history? How long have you been in the business? Do you run a team? Are you a solo agent? Give us a little bit of a breakdown.
I've been in the business for a really long time. I'm in my 26th year. At the beginning, I was kind of that hobbyist agent. You know, I did a few deals here and there because people that knew, liked, and trusted me knew that no matter what it took, I would take care of them. And then we grew into a multi-million-dollar a year producing group. And I still love the people part the best. You know, I know that we have to build and run businesses, but my joy is the human interaction and helping someone accomplish the goal of buying or selling a piece of real estate. It's, in this country, like, it's just such a huge part of having a good financial foundation.
Right. Yep, it's that American dream,
Yes.
right? Like that whole basis. And you've always run kind of a SEAL team, right? Like a ninja, small,
Yes.
intense, high producing. All of your agents are rock stars and do a bunch of business, but it's not 18, 20 agents, right?
Never. Probably with admin and agents, the biggest we've ever been has been a dozen people.
Yeah. But you've had some changes recently with your business.
I have.
So share what's happened in the last few months and how that transition, like what this new chapter is going to look like.
So I will probably always be selling real estate, working with sellers, consulting sometimes with buyers. I have friends and clients right within my community that I've done 10, 15, 20 transactions with. Did I say I've been doing this a long time?
Right.
So I will always be there for those people. And again, I continue to stay active in the business. I'm just no longer the owner of the brokerage. So that's
you
the
sold
big
the
change.
brokerage.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
And a lot of agents have challenges because, like, they're good at realtors, but maybe they don't know how to run a business. Maybe they don't have that skill set. You obviously had that skill set because you opened your own brokerage and ran that. What gave you that exit strategy? Like, how did you, because I think so many of us don't have any plan, right? We're going to sell real estate till we die, and at some point we're not going to do it.
Right.
I got a call from a client recently, and his agent just retired. And he's like, my agent said, oh yeah, this person's taking over my business. And Casey says to me, he's like, but I don't know that person, and I know you, and I haven't worked with you because I've always worked with this person. But now that she's retiring,
I know you.
I know you, right?
Yes.
And so, like, how, like, you actually sold it. So you're no longer owner.
Correct.
And who bought it?
Two of my team members.
Okay.
So that was very satisfying and rewarding. And, in a lot of ways, it's a compliment. They've each been around actively in the brokerage for 10 years or so or more. So it's not like, we polished something up to see if we could sell.
Yep.
We actually had 2 offers from big brand names, but we're a small part of the community, family-like boutique environment.
Yep.
And it's so fulfilling to know that our core values that Gary and I put down those roots and built for so many years, I know that they'll continue with those.
Right. Those values are their values.
Yes.
And that's why they chose to work with you, and that's why they chose to continue the brand on.
Yes. And I want to address something you asked a minute ago about, like, kind of how this all happened. I didn't really set out to build a big brokerage, right? So it was never bigger. It was truly about, for me, being one with the community that I live in and I love. And I was always really good at taking care of people and really good at sales. Unlike you and your partner, like, you're amazing business people as well. Like, I really believe that every once in a while, our industry and your clients, anybody's clients, get lucky, and you're the whole package. And you know that I'm saying that very sincerely. It's like, how can you be this nice, this dedicated, and this brilliant? That's how I see you, Jenny Turner. It's
Okay,
the truth.
but let's go back.
Okay, all right, back to me.
I mean, well, and so you didn't like put your business on the market. You didn't go out and say like, hey, I'm going to sell and I want to be sold by December 2022. Or did you?
I didn't. I started reaching out to people that have been my mentors in the industry. And, we've learned a lot, obviously,
Yep.
2.5 decades. And reaching out to them and getting advice and being conscious of not being super needy with a lot of time and like, walk me through this. It's like, what are your top 2 pieces of advice? What should I be looking for? What should I be cautious of? And like you, I have some great mentors and it helped a lot. And there's been a lot of buying of brokerages the last couple of years. And I had some very enticing numbers put in front of me, but my community and my team were more important to me than that.
Yep. It wasn't all about the money for you.
It was. I mean, of course the money is important, right? For our clients, for any business, but I worked my butt off for 25 years and was in a place where I had the option of that didn't have to be the only motivator. And I love everybody on my team. I genuinely do. Again, there's not 50 of them. And when 2 of my agents, 2 of them collaborated,
did they come to you or did you go to them?
I went to my agents and told them, I'm thinking about selling. I don't know when. I'm going to kind of just start the research process. And, know a lot of people in the industry. So I went outside my local area for advice and guidance.
Yeah, because you don't want your local competitors knowing you're thinking about selling, right? Because that could change the dynamic and the story starts getting told that like, oh, she's retiring instead.
Exactly, which she didn't, right? She just sold the brokerage. She didn't retire.
The story isn't always the truth.
Correct.
But the story can be told, right?
Correct, exactly. And the other factor is, I guess kind of like on the flattering part is then everybody has an agenda. Well, if you're going to sell, we can acquire you, or we can this, or we can that, or we can. It's like I needed to go through my own process without feeling any pressure. Again, I feel that I've worked in the business so long. Those are things I should be able to expect and allow in my process.
Yep.
So when I first started talking about them, I said, this is going to happen. It's not tomorrow. I don't know when. And then a year ago, as you know, in our industry, there was a lot of, who would think in the middle of COVID, there was a lot of acquisition.
Yep.
Especially a lot of the big luxury brands were buying little teams and buying even teams within brokerages. And I was like, So I went outside of my local area for advice and guidance from people that I really respect that are like our dear friend Tom Ferry, icons in the industry who always help everybody do what's best for them and give you the
and
real
no
scoop.
agenda, right? Like
Exactly.
just like a good,
And here's the thing, complete disclosure, I can't believe I'm sharing this. Where are you putting this?
Just a few people know.
2 of the brokerages made me offers, financial offers, that years earlier I would have been so flattered and, oh my goodness, I can't believe somebody's offering me that many zeros after the comma. But as business should, it came with conditions. And I saw anything between 2 to 5 year commitment to stay.
Okay.
And
stay running the brokerage.
Stay so they could leverage my track record, in my opinion.
Yep.
So they could leverage my track record, my standing in the community, my local real estate community, as well as my standing in our industry.
Right.
And it's going to sound odd, but this is really the way I see it. I've been married to my husband for 40 years. I don't want to marry any other situation.
You don't want to commit yourself,
Exactly.
right? You want to have options and
when
flexibility.
I'm in with you, with my clients, with my agents, like, you've got me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think that's kind of the opposite of what semi-retired or, slowing down a little bit. I think that's kind of the opposite of that. So while it was very flattering, the flip side was it was also very satisfying to have 2 of my agents come to me and say, what do you need? What do you want? How can we make this happen?
So they came to you, and by selling to them, it continues the legacy of your brand, right?
Correct.
Like it continues that your company, what you built, And in all disclosure, one's your daughter, right? So it continues the name,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
That also helps.
Yes. It helps, but truly it's the legacy is who the two of them are.
Absolutely.
Right? So Nikki's my daughter, obviously grew up in the community and in the business, exposed to the business since she was a child.
Right.
And Zach Kuczynski is also legacy because his family for years, the reason I know him and got to love him was because his dad used to own the #1 home inspection company in Southern California.
He grew up in the business too.
He grew up in the business, correct.
Just a different side of the business.
Correct. And transitioned to this almost 10 years ago. And they have a lot in common because of that
Nikki
legacy.
and Zach.
Nikki and Zach. They have a lot in common, and they also have some differences or some gifts that they bring to the team, to the brokerage, to each other. For example, again, both very, very, very intelligent individuals. Zach has that whole inspection background.
Right.
Like the way he's been able to educate me and the rest of the team
Yep.
throughout the years, because, before he became a broker owner, or became an agent, he was a rock star inspector.
Right.
Very, very thorough. And she has the social component of raising daughters, like I did, in the community that go to local schools. And they're amazing. They're amazing.
When was it official? Like, when was it
June 1st.
June 1st.
Yep.
And since then, how has your world changed? And has it been hard for you, because you are still working in the business and you're selling homes and you're still active. Has it been hard to let them make those decisions?
99%, absolutely not. 99% has been really very easy and smooth and fulfilling. And then, I'm not going to use a bad word, you can imagine, and then they messed with my logo.
Which was probably really important for them to do, to take some ownership.
Right. I think it was to mark that moment where it's it's still the Rivera group, it's still this, it's still that, but it's a little different. And it's so ridiculous, but it was the one thing that it was just bugging me. It was bugging me. You didn't tell me ahead of time for a reason. I love our little logo. And from a business perspective, and I'm over it. It's only been a few months, and I'm over it. And now it's fun. Right. Now it's already fun, and it's a story because it's them. The other thing that's changed is, as you know, which a lot of single agents out there have no sense of, the other thing that's changed is all those monthly recurring expenses, those checks you have to write every month when you're not, when you're an owner, when you're not just an agent, you're responsible for these people.
Yep.
And
payroll and building and copier and
it's like, oh, okay. And I found myself at the end of the first month, because it takes transition with accounts and names and all of that, transfer of funds. I found myself at the end of the first month, I was going to reach out to them and say, okay, do you need anything? Can I help you with something? And I thought, nope, you messed with my logo.
And they know if they need, you're here, right? They know if they need help, they're going to ask you. So that's a path, because you had a brokerage, right? You had an entity, you had a brokerage, you had a company, you could sell. How about the individual single agent who sees themselves not wanting to work till they're 105, right? What are some options for those agents to work towards having a plan? Because you were thoughtful in your plan. And if we want other agents to be thoughtful in their plan, what kind of steps could they take towards that transition?
They really need to seek that guidance and that education. They need to seek it. They need to they need to know it's necessary. They need to learn. They need to read. If they're lucky enough that their two owners, like the Turners, have MBAs, you spew great financial advice to anyone that asks you for help. And I've seen people ask you many, many times over the years. That's not the typical broker owner. No offense to anybody else, but find someone. Take a class. Information is so available, and you don't need to go out and get an MBA like you did. You need to have you need to know enough to ask smart questions so that you learn more.
Did you know before we started coaching with you, we looked really hard at merging our company with another company?
No.
And
obviously that was years ago because we've been together for some time.
it was years ago. And we have a good friend who's an icon in the industry here locally. He was definitely our mentor. And he was thinking about taking it easier, slowing down a little bit. And so we looked really hard because we had similar values, similar alignment, right? And so it would have been a very easy mesh of integrity and business sense. And because he really taught us everything I know, like I also like it would have flowed really easily. In the end, we didn't do it, right? We didn't do it for a couple reasons, but mostly we didn't do it because he wasn't ready. He thought he was ready. The idea was ready, but he wasn't ready because it was a merger, but it was also more of a, it wasn't an acquisition. It was a merger, but it was him taking a lesser role in the organization. But it was good for us because it really made us think about our business. And there are some things in our company that are company expenses, but they're also just kind of Jenny things, right? So you think about your business a little different that way when you're trying to like put some value on it or how are you going to share it. One of our agents has been an agent for a long time, long career. And a few years ago, she came to us and said, hey, I want to plan on working less in the future. So she and I sat down and made a 5-year plan. And it's like a 2.5-year, all in, work your ass off. This is your season of like filling your buckets because she had some financial goals that she wanted to hit. And then a 2.5-year plan of what's that next chapter look like, maybe referring more of her business to other team members and getting that referral fee versus being on, on the front lines as much. Just kind of transitioning to that next chapter. Now we're probably 1.5 years into her 5-year plan. I bet it's a 6-year plan. I bet we stretch it out a little bit more.
But there's been progress?
Totally. Well,
That's great.
And she's still in the season of working her ass off, right? Like she's in the season of like, I'm going to do this. But we talk about, okay, you want to travel a little bit more. Okay, you want to do this. And because she's on the team can support that, right? Whereas an individual agent, if you don't have a team, that's a little bit harder because if you travel, you're still like on your phone on the beach and like you're doing things, right?
Yes.
So that's one other way an individual agent can do it, right? Is like that partnership with somebody else and that partnership through it. Are there any other ways of getting out?
It's the plan.
Yeah.
It's a GPS from where you are today to where you want to be in 5 years or 10 years. And obviously, young, newer, successful agents are just happy and excited that they're with the right team or the right mentor and they're making things happen. But any one of those younger people that I can convince, I don't care if you're 30, design your retirement plan now. Design it now. It's amazing what a gift time is when you start early.
Well, and it gives you that path, right? Like if you can see the vision, you can get there. I told Ryan he has to buy the business, but I told him I wasn't giving it to him. And of course he has no interest in real estate, right? Like he's still like no interest. But maybe at some point that might change.
Of course.
Right? Like maybe at some point that might change a little bit. And of course also no pressure, right? Go do whatever you want to do. Go be whoever you want to be.
Absolutely.
And, thinking about it, another one of my agents really is growing one of the sections of our business. And at some point, that section will be hers.
Yeah,
like we'll sell it, we'll transfer it, we'll do something, right? We've been working together on that. So
Nikki got my daughter got her real estate license, I think when she was 18. This is where we're not the same. I think she just wanted to take a test and see how she'd do. Because she's that type. Got her license, did nothing with it for a few years except, keep it current and do what you're supposed to, but wasn't involved in real estate. Got her bachelor's degree, then went on, got her master's degree, worked for a year and said, I'm really not going to be able to get the job I want to get unless I go back and get my PhD. I'm looking at a PhD program at such and such a school. It's going to run about $200,000. Cool. I said, I love you. I'm proud of you. Get a job.
That's a lot for more schooling, right?
Right. It's a lot. But get a job was, maybe, again, she had her bachelor's, she had her master's. Maybe I should see if I can make a little bit of money selling real estate to fund my PhD. And she was such a natural and so good at it. And the timing in the marketplace was perfect. It supported a lot of agents whose business I helped grow. And
The rest
as
is
they
history.
say, the rest
Yeah.
is history, yes. Yeah. So you just never know. And again, with younger agents, it's showing them, you and I often show not just our buyers and our sellers, but we often show our teams what's possible.
Yeah.
And and I know you get so much satisfaction
Well,
out of
we
that.
talk a lot about that because it's not just make a lot of money.
Right.
Right? Or not make a lot of money, right? Depending on who the agent is. It's like investments, wealth building, no debt. Like that part of it is magical. And so we talk a lot about that. Maybe more than they want to hear.
Well,
Maybe, right?
maybe more than they want to hear, but not more than they need.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Yeah.
Eileen, thank you so much for coming, chatting with me this morning. Jenny Turner, Lovejoy Real Estate. If you enjoyed this, follow, like, listen to us everywhere that you listen to podcasts. Thanks so much.
Jenny, thank you so much. I've had a blast. I always do. I love working with your team. You have an amazing crew. Thank you, everybody. My name is Eileen Rivera. I sell real estate in Long Beach, California, and the surrounding area. I also coach for Tom Ferry. If you have any questions or you want to reach out for anything, my number is 562-989-1997.